Okay, so my program aim is to accept marks, maybe 3 marks as input and calculate the total, calculate total marks to average and 3 percentage. Okay, so let's check how can this be done. So the first step is to include our header files, include cornio.h. Okay, and okay, writing the main. So inside the main, the first thing that we know from this question is that we have to accept 3 marks as input. So in order to accept 3 marks as input, we need to declare 3 variables, maybe m1, m2, and comma m3. Okay, so first of all, let me just give m1, m2, and m3. Now, the next step is to calculate, to accept input. So in order to accept input, we need to use scanf statement. Hope you have understood how to write scanf statements. So since the marks, I'm assuming that the marks are integer data type and I've declared it as int. You can, I'm going to give percentage %d and I'm going to accept the first mark m1. Okay, so just want to give a printf statement above printf. I'm going to put the semicolon, coming back to the parenthesis pair. Yes, giving a tab and a new line. Enter the okay, new line. I'm going to give the tab and the new line, and going to give a subject name, maybe programming in C. In C. Okay. Okay. Now, just before that, let me give a printf. And a tab and a new line. Enter the marks obtained for the following subjects. Okay, so I'm going to just do that. Okay, so another printf I'm going to this is just to make my output to be displayed in a pleasing manner. I'm going to give the new line and the new tab wherever I feel that it's necessary. So since I've given one scanf statement, I can just copy paste it. Copy, going to paste it. I'm going to change the subject name, maybe digital electronics, and I'm going to change my variable name here to m2. Please keep in mind that if you are doing the copy paste procedure, instead of repeating the typing, please make sure that you change whatever has to be changed, the format specifiers, the variable names, etc. Okay, otherwise you'll get error, you'll not be getting a desired output, and you might not be thinking about that you have not changed the names and whatever has to be changed. So please try to do it as and when you copy and paste. Okay, so again I'm doing a copy paste because I have specified that I have to accept 3 marks. So here let me give the subject mathematics. Okay, so I have got, and I'm going to change my variable name to M3. So I have my 3 scanner statements here to accept my, marks of 3 subjects. Okay, so suppose, like, see, I now if I actually run my program, I will be able to accept 3 marks. So after accepting 3 marks, what should be done? We have to calculate the total marks, we have to calculate the percentage, we have to calculate the average marks. Okay, now assume that the total uh, assume assume that the total marks of each subject is 100. Okay, so I can do one thing, because 100 is a constant and it does not change. I can actually use hash define max marks 100. Okay, so I've actually explained what hash define is all about in my one of my previous videos. If you have not watched it, please go and watch it. I think I've explained hash define in when I explained structure of a program. Okay, so after getting the 3 marks, we can actually calculate the total. So how can total be calculated? It's addition, m1 plus m2 plus m3. Now this result of m1 plus m2 plus m3 should be stored in a variable. Suppose say total, I'm using a variable total. So in order to use this variable total in line number 22, I have to declare it above. Okay, in the first statement. So I am going to write total and I'm just going to initialize it as 0. Okay, so here I have obtained the result of adding all the 3 marks in the variable total. Okay, now next, so I have calculated total marks. The next thing I have to do is to calculate the average. So I'm going to calculate the average. How can average be calculated? Average is total by 3, because I have 3, because in the question itself it specified that I have to use 3 marks. I have to accept in marks of 3 subjects. So we know that calculating average is like the total sum by the number of marks. So here the number of marks that I have inputted is 3, so the denominator is 3. So this result of average should be assigned to a variable. So I am taking avg as my variable name. So in order to use this average avg here in line number 23, I have to declare it back here in the first declaration statement. So I am going to declare it. Okay, now the next, so we have calculated total marks, we have calculated average. The next thing to calculate in the row is percentage. Okay, how can we calculate the percentage? We know that there are 3 subjects, right? So, and each subject maximum marks is 100, right? So I am going to calculate it as total into 100 by 300. See, here I'm going to change my 100 value to 300, because the maximum marks that can be attained for the three subjects is 300. So sorry for writing 100 for the when I did it for the first time. It's 300. Okay, so this result has to be stored in some variable. So I'm just giving a variable percentage. Okay, so this for using this percentage here in line number 24, I have to declare it here. Equal to maybe 0. Okay, so now we have all the three results in the variables assigned to the in the variables assigned here in total, average, and percentage. So the next procedure is to print them. So I'm going to print it. Okay, just giving a tab and a new line here at the start. Sorry. Okay, giving a percentage D. Yes, total marks is actually stored in the variable total. Yes, now I'm going to just average marks attained. Just going to change this total to average and the variable name to AVG. One more printf. I'm going to copy paste. Percentage score is percentage. Okay. Yes, I think this is it. Now let me just give a get ch. Okay, let's compile this and see whether there are any errors. I'm going to run this. Enter the marks obtained for the following subjects: programming and C. I'm just going to give some marks like 87 out of 100. Digital electronics, let me give 75 out of 100. And mathematics maybe 93 out of 100. Yes, we get that the total marks attained is 255. Average marks is 85. And the percentage scored is 85. See, usually the percentage calculated will be a float value, but since we have declared percentage as int, okay, even though a float value will be calculated, we will be returned with an int value. Okay. Now another thing that I have to mention here is in this particular line number 24, this had actually be logically written as percentage equal to total by 300 into 100, right? This is what we actually do. See the line number 25. When we calculate percentage, It's like the total marks attained by 300 and that answer into 100. That's what gives us the percentage. But if we do like this, let us see. Let's comment the former statement where we calculated percentage, and let us do this thing. Okay, percentage equal to total by 300 into 100. Let's see what the result is. Okay, percentage undeclared. Okay, sorry. Here also I have to change. Okay, okay. So, yeah, there are no errors. I'm going to run the program. Okay, I'm just giving marks. Any marks you can give. 86, maybe 58, or maybe 78. See, the percentage scored, you get it as 0. Now, why do you get this as 0? Let us see. Here, when you calculate the total by 300, remember 300 is the maximum marks that one can attain. So, a total will be obviously lesser than 300. So, as I had explained with the PPT, where we saw, yes, here we saw that when a number, lesser number is being divided by a greater number, we get the quotient as 0. So that is the reason why here in the output, we got it as 0. I hope you understand. You understood this particular conflict here that comes in the while calculating the percentage. Since the total is will be lesser than 100, we'll get a quotient as 0, and that quotient 0 will be multiplied with 100, which will result again in a 0. That is why we got a 0 value for the percentage earlier when I showed you the output. Now, if suppose I'm going to give 300 instead of total. Okay, let's see how this works. Now, in order to get, sorry, excuse me, no, I'm not going to change this value. I'm going to enter, when I'm running the program, I'm going to enter full marks for all the 3 subjects. That makes 300, right? 100 and 100. Sorry. Okay. See, the percentage scored is 100 percentage. Now it came. Now it's not coming as 0 because the total marks is equal to the value of the denominator, that is the maximum that we have defined. Now here this 300 can be changed to max because here I have defined max as 300, right? So, and it's a constant, it's not gonna change throughout the program. So this, instead of writing 300, I can give it as max. Okay, so let me just go compile and run the program to see whether I'm getting the answer. I'm giving 100 for all the 3 subjects. Yes, we are getting an answer as total marks is 300, average marks attained is 100, and the percentage score is obviously 100 because all the 3 subjects have been given full marks. Okay, so I hope that you understood this particular program of calculating the total average and percentage of 3 marks inputted. Now, instead of 3, the question can be anything like 5 marks, 6 marks, but the logic remains the same. So you can also try with declaring percentage as a float number. So instead of an integer value, you will get a float value. But always remember that in this particular statement here in line number 24, I'm just going to delete this line number 25 and I'm going to change this as percentage here in line number 29, and here also I'm going to change my variable as percentage because percentage is the variable that I've used to store the result of the percentage in line number 24. So here please try to understand that you have to first multiply your total with 100 in order to make the numerator greater than the denominator. Okay, so instead of this 300 also, you can actually use the constant that is defined using hash define statement here in line number 9. So I hope that you understood how can this program be performed without any errors. Thank you.